So, I'm here. I'm here in London for MCM Comic-Con. I'm in my hotel room, which is why I'm sat in a bit of a weird place. But I thought, sitting on the bed would be a little bit of a different kind of YouTube video. But basically, I thought I would give you the quick lowdown of what's happening in this video because I thought that it would be fun to take you with me through MCM. I'm doing a lot of stuff other than taking photos. I am taking photos, but I'm doing a lot of other stuff as well. I've got a panel that I'm doing tomorrow, and I've got another panel that I'm helping out with. I'm doing an interview with somebody. I'm trying to attend a lot of panels in order to get, it's another way of getting voices in a way. But I also, one of the things that's really great about cons is that I get those like little bits of conversations that aren't necessarily formal interviews, but they're information that's really useful. So it's the time where somebody says, hey, this is my experience in passing, or they'll tell me a story about something, but that will be like the only interaction that we have. I have a lot of those. I have a lot more of those than I have of formal interviews. And sometimes those are some of the best little bits of flavor text that I can get of people's experiences. And it can help to flesh out, some of the conversations and details that, especially if they are bits of controversy of how other people feel about certain things, I can kind of flesh it out with other people's opinions without necessarily needing to do like full interviews for it. So yeah, I'm really excited. I'm going to be here for 3 days. It's going to be a lot of work. I'm doing the only bit of trepidation that I have is that tomorrow, Friday, I am supposed to cosplay. And now, for those of you who are around for a bit, I did cosplay at MCM London last year. So about a year ago today, I was in cosplay at MCM, and it was not a good experience. I have a whole video where I talk a little bit about those experiences and them being uncomfortable, and I tried to reflect on it in a very anthropological way rather than just dwelling in it. So I'm giving it another try, primarily because Holly was insistent, and I do a lot of things for my friends. But I also wanted to give it a try again with alterations. So I thought what I would do real quick is tell you some of the changes that I'm doing, and then you'll see it, because the next time I turn this camera on, it'll be when I'm like getting dressed and getting ready for the day. So one of the things is that I get very uncomfortable with my bare legs on display, and Chise's outfit is typically that she doesn't have leggings, she doesn't wear pants, she wears like just a skirt and that's it. And I didn't quite understand the logistics of wearing skirts for women of a particular size on the bottom region. And I got some chub rub, and it was really physically uncomfortable, and I ended up having to leave a bit early because I just was in pain. So I decided this time, I bought some bicycle shorts to wear under the outfit, which is what I've worn the last couple of times when I had to take photos or do quick things in regards to the cosplay. I think this time I did something a little bit different, and I brought with me, like my skin color tights, which I did because, I'm used to wearing tights with skirts. That's something that I'm used to doing, and it's something that I feel comfortable doing, because it's not just the physical thing that's uncomfortable, because I do wear skirts now a little bit more than I did before, and I do feel uncomfortable with people just seeing my legs. I'm not somebody who shows off a lot of skin. It makes me really uncomfortable. So being in an outfit that shows off, it's not even a lot of skin, like, Chise is one of the more, like, modest of anime female characters, so the fact that even that makes me uncomfortable is probably something I should go to therapy for, but that's aside the point. But I decided to bring my skin color tights to wear. It has the illusion of bare legs, but I feel more comfortable both physically and hopefully not as much in pain, while also being more comfortably, like, spiritually bodily, emotionally. I don't know how to explain it, but we'll see. We'll see. And I'm hoping it works out because it's going to be a long day tomorrow. So if it is uncomfortable, I don't know. I might bring bicycle shorts just in case. I think that's what I'll do. I'll bring bicycle shorts just in case if I have to like throw those on as well for like extra protection. I don't know. Oh, and I have this. Sorry, speaking of my cosplay, this is Chisei's wand, and it was made for me. It's hand carved. It's really beautiful. My husband did it, and I'm hoping that might also help with recognition because I didn't get that much last time. But I think I've tempered my expectations now, so we'll see how it is. But anyway, yeah, I think I'm gonna get settled and organized, and I'm gonna watch a live stream on Twitch and go to bed. Good morning. This is me somewhat dressed. I haven't done my hair and I need to put on the jewelry and stuff, but I also have to eat breakfast before I head down. But yeah, so these are actually tights, but don't they look like my actual legs, kind of? And it's almost, like, I don't know if I'm still self-conscious, but I think it's good enough for a day, maybe. Oh, well. All right, fed, packed. I have my bag there with my staff and my bag and some water. I have to bring a lot today because it's the day of the panel. So I have to bring a laptop and a microphone because we're going to be recording it. I've got my camera, all that kind of stuff. And me and cosplay, the full look. Yeah. So, yeah. Let's go before I change my mind, yeah? Going on in 10. I'm gonna make it big up. Yeah. Hello, day 2, Saturday. I'm here at the Cosplay Journal. Should be another fun day of taking photos and getting things, and I'm already kind of tired. It's the last day and I'm tired, but I've got coffee and a croissant and I'm taking notes. I forgot that the doors didn't open until 10 today, so I'm here a little early, but that's kind of nice. Means I've got time to chill before the insanity starts. We're alone at the cosplay booth. Havoc!
We're so sleepy. Oh my god. At least we weren't this sleepy doing the panel. That would have been bad. Would have been so bad.
My shirt is the same color as the bedding. At least it shows that it's clean. Both things. Okay, so it is now Monday morning. I think it's about 7:30. So I've got to finish, I did a little bit of packing. I've got to finish packing, I've got to eat breakfast, and then I'm out. But I thought that maybe before I go, I would do a little bit of like a quick recap, thought process, things like that. I had a great time, really. It was really interesting because I've been obviously to MCM before. I have a previous video all about it, but I was more of just a general con attendee. I went on the Saturday, which in retrospect was probably the bad move. I did cosplay at that time as well. And I think really, in all honesty, I was there for like a couple of hours. I think I showed up when the doors opened at 9 and then I left by like 3 or something because I was just so physically uncomfortable and tired, and there were so many people and everything. This year, I was behind the Cosplay Journal table for a lot of the time. They needed a little bit more help, and I was really glad to give it to them. The Cosplay Journal has been so wonderfully kind to me during the course of my research. Holly has obviously become an amazingly good friend to me, just in general, which will definitely extend past all of this research. And so I wanted to be able to pay them back in some way, and that was by helping them out when they needed it. And what was really great about it actually was that, from a selfish angle, it not only was really nice to have a calm space, like even on Saturday when it was so busy and so crammed full of people, it didn't feel like that behind the table because I had that space between me and others, which was really nice. So it was just us behind the cosplay table, and then there was space and then other people. And I only had to interact with people when they came up to the table. And if they came up to the table, it tended to be because they were cosplayers or they were family members of cosplayers and loved ones were cosplayers that they wanted to come up and have conversations with about it and stuff like that. Which meant that I got to have those conversations with cosplayers, those like quick, snappy kind of comments, which is what I was looking for. I did do a formal interview with somebody during this project, which is cutting it a little bit close, but I'm really glad that I got to do that interview. That person was amazing and so wonderful, and I'm so happy I got to talk to them. But I was really also hoping to get a lot more of those like small comments that aren't necessarily formal interviews that I can also include in as like flavor text. It's just ways of substantiating what the fuller discussions had said, but in kind of more snapshotty ways of what people have thought. And it helps to provide more voices than just the people that I was able to formally interview. And because I was behind the table, because we were talking about cosplay, I got to hear a lot of those kinds of comments. I got to hear a lot of the comments from the people who worked the Cosplay Journal, people like Holly and Egg and Charlie and Elliot were there too, who were people who were helping out. And, getting to hear about their experiences and the way that they interact with people and the kind of thoughts that they had about stuff. It was all just really fascinating. So I ended up having my fieldwork journal out behind the table where I was able to quickly jot notes down the whole time. So it was really great, is basically what I'm saying. It was a really different and new experience, and I think that it's really helped to substantiate the fact that from kind of a marketing, publicity, selling angle of the book, going to cons like this and trying to sell them like the Cosplay Journal was doing would probably be a really good, smart move. It'll be a bit different. It's not going to be like guides and how-tos, obviously. It'll be like, an anthropological study of it, but I think a lot of people seemed interested. We did a panel on Friday, and I actually really appreciate the fact that it was on the Friday rather than later in the weekend, because it meant that we had people coming up to us throughout the whole weekend, being able to comment on things or tell us what they thought, and stuff like that. So I even had people coming up on the Sunday saying, hey, I saw your panel on Friday, and these are my 2 cents. And so it meant that I got to have those conversations throughout the whole weekend, and it meant that there was also a starting point for some of those conversations, that people were able to say, like, oh, you mentioned, I mentioned Irving Goffman in it, because of course I did, and, you know, having those conversations with someone, oh, you mentioned this, and I think that's really useful, or oh, you talked about that, and that was really great. And I may have met some new people to work with in the same way that I did with Holly, you know, friend working acquaintances type things. So yeah, it was kind of one of those experiences that was really crazy and really long and really tiring. But in all like the good ways. Like it was tiring because there was a lot going on, and there was a lot of conversations being had and a lot of thoughts happening. So yeah, I think all around the experience was good. My last thought that I'm ending with is that at about end of Friday, beginning of Saturday, I was kind of starting to go, I should add another chapter to the book. There was a lot of small things that I wasn't able to include when I was putting together the draft, and I had a list of stuff that I was going to try to fit in when I was doing the edits. But they didn't really seem to fit in anywhere, and I didn't really know how to fit them. And I didn't really know how to fit them together either in order to make it cohesive, but I think I figured out how to do it. So, yeah, which is great, because it meant that I know what to do with this info now, but it was also kind of annoying because I already have a second draft, and it's like a full printed draft for me to edit, and now I have to add a chapter. But it'll be fine. It'll be good. It'll be fine. It'll be all worth it in the end. So anyway, I think I'm going to end there because I've got to finish packing and I've got to eat breakfast, which is currently waiting for me in the sink area. That sounds really weird. It's just porridge that I, did the hot water pour in, and then you have to let it sit for a couple of minutes. So it's not weird. But, yeah, so I have to go grab that and eat and pack and go home. And I'm kind of looking forward to being home and playing Zelda. So, yeah. Thanks for coming with me and, seeing all the lovely snapshots of my weekend. Obviously, I didn't get too many photos of, people talking because but I had a great time and it was super useful, and I have to say it was a lot better than my previous year's experience of MCM. And so I think I'm willing to give cons a better go and maybe a more expressive go, but under very specific circumstances. I think it's just that thing of when you're a con goer, it can be really tiring, the social interactions that you have. But when you're behind the table, it's still tiring. But I think the stamina is larger. So I'm having more conversations, and I'm at the con for longer having more conversations. But because it's a kind of semi-scripted, right? You have things that you start the conversation with ready to go and stuff like that. And you can kind of have that guide the conversation. It's more useful. It's kind of like when I do my interviews. Obviously that kind of social interaction is still a social interaction, is therefore somewhat tiring, but I find interviews way less tiring than other social interactions because of the fact that there's a purpose to it. There are set understandings that I'm going for. There are questions that I know I'm going to ask. And so I personally find it less tiring than other forms of social interaction. And so I think being behind the table is quite similar. Anyway, I am going to go. I'm going to go home. Yeah, thanks for coming with me. And I hope that if you were at MCM, you also had a great time. Many people came by to say hello to me that either read the Incidental Mythology blog or were keeping up with my updates, or that I interviewed for my project. A couple of my participants came up, and it was so amazing seeing them in person and being able to see them in cosplay. Some of them I hadn't seen in cosplay, which was so cool. And so yeah, it was just an amazing experience to be able to kind of see everything kind of coming together, and be able to say hello to people and meet people. And yeah, so I'm happy. I'm leaving happy, and I think that's the main takeaway. So anyway, bye. Until next time, bye.